In today's video, I'm joined with Vincent Godbout. He is one of the presenters that will be presenting his findings of his research at the Cosmic Discovery Conference in Nashville, Tennessee, April 24th through 26th, 2026. Vincent has been conducting serious long-term research in astrology for many years, and in this conversation, we're going to be diving into the work that he'll be sharing at the conference. If you're interested in evidence-based astrology and exploring what consistently works, then you're going to love this video. Thanks for joining me, and if you're curious about more about Vincent or the conference, you can check out the links in the description box, and I'm really glad to have you here. I'm excited about your two projects. The first project that you're doing for the conference, your first presentation will be on the Zodiac hemisphere study. Well, maybe you can explain to us what exactly is that research and why did you choose it? What came to you to decide to
Yeah.
do this?
Let's begin with the origins. It's a French guy. I'm French. Can you hear it? I'm not from France. I'm from Quebec, Canada. But I've got a friend, an astrologer in France, whose name is Hubert Brun. Brun means brown. And at times we collaborate. And he came with me with this idea based on Jean-Pierre Nicolas, who passed away a few years ago. He was a thinker of astrology. He created conditional astrology. And he tried to explain the zodiac, the tropical zodiac after astronomy and cycles. And his main explanation was connected with photoperiodism. It's a concept that you have in botany, the reaction of living plants or animals to light. So he just analyzed the increasing light during the seasons or decreasing or the time of light, the relative duration of day and night. But this connect only with seasons, and it asks a big question: what happens in southern hemisphere where all the seasons are reversed? So every analogy with season, like I'm very sunny, I'm a summer sign, or I'm more of a secret type because of winter sign. It's reversed in southern hemisphere. And so he came to me with this and he said we should make a research about that. I said, okay, I like to work with him. Said I just imagine a protocol that would check what happens if we reverse the signs. The problem is that the seasonal analogy works for the sun, but if you reverse for the planets also. So this is very, very speculative. And my personal opinion was we won't see any difference. The zodiac is universal. I was convinced that the reversal, as it proposed by a few thinkers, wouldn't work. So I just fell off my chair when we found that it's better to reverse the zodiac.
Wow.
Yeah, I know it's very surprising and it's very amazing to do research that contradicts your own practice or opinion. But I just submit to when it's research is well done with rigor, evidence-based, you have to take it into account. You cannot say, "Oh, I think differently." I don't know why, but it's reversed. What we've done, instead of focusing only on placement in zodiac of the planets, we took the old chart, including things that don't move, like the aspect between two planets are not reversed if you go in the southern hemisphere. What is reversed is the zodiac position. So we had two ways to work. We focus only on the zodiac position that change, but you don't have a full portrait. I wanted to simulate the astrologer practice, as I've done in my first publication in 19. So all that has been published in Correlation magazine journal.
Mm-hmm.
My first research was a matching test, like the Carlson study. So I took the old chart and I compared with biographical words, and I tried to see if we can match to the blind the charts with the biographies. So I use the same techniques with words, biographical words. We had about 70 subjects on the northern hemisphere, 70 subjects south hemisphere with their about 150 biographical words. And we see what is the connection with the astrological words as deduced with my expert system that I developed, that I use for the research, the matching test. So that was about the same protocol, a bit more sophisticated. Then you evaluate the match between astrological words, keywords, and biographical keywords. It's not perfect, but can we measure that match? I've got a tool to do that, a semantic analysis, a proximity analysis estimator. And we discovered that in southern hemisphere, the match was really better in a very big amount. On 70, it's about more than, it's about 70 times that it was a lot better.
Wow.
Reverse. If you do it in the northern hemisphere, no, the match, the reversal inversion
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work. The result when you don't reverse. And if you evaluate that with a p-value, is very significant. But if you ask me, Vincent, how come? I don't know. I'm not good at theory. I'm good at experimental. I'm not good at speculative theory. I don't know how could I explain that. Origin is photoperiodism and Jean-Pierre Nicolas conditional astrology and other thinkers. But we don't even know how astrology works.
That's a fascinating story. I'm really excited to learn more about it and how we can apply that to our own charts. So at the conference, you'll be sharing that type of thing.
Oh, by the way, at the conference, I give example. Example is not proof, but example helps to understand. I have a very good example with Elon Musk, who's born in South Africa.
Oh, very interesting.
That's going to be the fun part, the easy part to understand for the attendees. And very exciting is when research contradicts my own prejudice.
Yes, yes.
And the second research we're going to talk about in a few seconds also contradicted my own prejudice.
Right. And so, yeah, right. The second presentation is a more serious topic, but this presentation is about the celestial thresholds, and that's about studying the end of life. And so that's a fascinating topic. Of course, it's much more serious, but it's very interesting. Where did that come from? What made you decide to study that one?
That's very funny. Some people may think that, oh, this guy is interested in that because he's Scorpio.
Yeah.
Don't laugh at me. No, the real reason is one of the big problems we have in research is to find data, big amount of data, and data that you can reproduce at will. Dying is a universal event in human life. So it's very easy to find, is a lot easier to find a month or a date of death than when I'm going to win the Nobel Prize, or, big success, or even a lot of things, accident. It's a lot more difficult to find. So dying is very easy to document. So this is the real reason. The second thing I've done, I'm still amazed that I've done that because I thought I would lose my time. I work on secondary progressions. I don't use them a lot in my practice. I do counseling, and I rehabilitated in my own practice transits. There's a kind of contempt of deep astrologer, of transits because they don't use generalized transits. They use only planet. I use midpoint transits.
Oh,
On
yeah.
the point and transiting midpoint also. So this is what I call generalized transit, and it's very deep. It's very, it talks a lot. So I don't need, when I looked at the secondary progression, I was not, I mean, in my practice, I was not well impressed. Maybe I didn't look correctly. So I said, okay, let's check progressions to be sure. And my prejudice was that it won't work. I don't, it seems very offensive to say that I'm going to prove that secondary progression don't work. But I'm radical. So I said, okay, let's look at this simple thing. The month of, I take the month because it's in a transit. So with progression, you have the progress moon. So your amount of precision, it would be about a month. And I said, I need a control group. My control group, I'm going to talk about all the progressions every month, 500 months before when he wasn't dying. So this is my control group of non-death months. Is there a difference between this big amount of 500 month of non-dying against the dying month? And I found a difference. And it's multivariate. I mean, multivariate means that there's not one single factor. We know that astrology is a lot of pixels, a lot of factors. It's very complex. So my model is a combination of factors. If you combine those factors, you can predict on a group base, not individual. It's very important to talk about that. It's very, very important. I'll come back to that. So you can predict the month of death, a prediction after the fact, because we know, but I just play it to the blind. But the main thing is I built the model to optimize the connection between the factors and my group, experimental group. I had a few hundred, I'm not sure, but more than 500 people. It's easy to find it. The fact that my progressions model retro predict the amount of death is not impressive. You can even take random values, complete bullshit, and you can build a model that will predict random values. This is interpolation. You just prove that your model connect with what you use to generate the model. The game, the rule of the game is to replicate. So I take a few hundreds other people independent that was not there in my research, and I just show that it predicts the model works for the replication, dependent value. I wouldn't publish if I don't do that. Very important point. Ethics. Even if I had that tool, I wouldn't use it with people for obvious reasons. But I couldn't anyway. I'll explain. My significant results don't work on individual. You cannot be very accurate on individual. Hopefully, it works more like actuary point of view. Insurance company actuaries. So if the only person that could be interested in this type of result would be actuaries and insurance company, because on the whole picture, it's very significant for the group of people,
Right.
not
But
for
not
individual
individual.
people. That's very important.
Yeah, that makes sense because it is a sensitive topic. You don't want people to, hey, tell me when I'm going to go. Yeah.
Hopefully, it's not. So if you're really interested in research for what you can do in practice, no, what I think I kind of rehabilitated for me, the usefulness of progressions. Oh, by the way, I would say that I was reviewer for Paul Western work. You know, the Australian guy worked a lot on progression. And I think I was influenced by his rigor, his results. I was reviewer for correlation. So I think that it opened the door for me because I know the rigor of that Paul. So I said, okay, if it works, let's check it. And now that I've done that research, what is the result for my practice? I'm open to use the progression. I'm working on trying to develop a good method to use them in my counseling and my practice, because I know it's not pure fantasy. I think it's as
Progression.
effective as transit, but I'm sure it works.
I've been following the progressed moon a lot for a while, and even going back in my life, because that's obviously the one that moves the fastest. And they're seasons for
What
sure.
was your
Almost,
impression?
they're almost like definitive seasons of time when the progressed moon moves the zodiac
Mhm.
signs. And I would not intuitively thought that because I'm not huge. You know me, I'm a vibrational astrologer. I look at the interplay
Yeah,
and patterns and not the zodiac as much. But of course, I know it works in
yeah,
the right context. But I did not really expect to see how definitive those periods of time were. So,
yeah.
and
But
clearly you look at them as they move around the zodiac too.
as
But
we know, this type of research that we do, I call that clinical research,
oh
like
yeah, yeah,
clinical, like in
yeah,
medicine. So when we do clinical research, we're very prone to, especially in our own life,
true.
there's a lot of confirmation bias. It's very, very easy to. So that's the reason why I tried it very hard, fact, evidence based. Now I know that I won't lose my time to check them in clinical approach.
I love that, and that leads us into talking about your research, your
It,
method as a whole. You
yeah,
know,
you want me to talk just very simply in my rules?
I would love
I,
it.
I think I'll try to make it simple. Rigor uh, doesn't lie in the absence of confirmation bias. It's impossible. Even the worst, no, not the worst, the best skeptics. That's a joke. The stronger skeptics have got confirmation bias. We all are built in our brain to have confirmation bias. I think it's even for evolutionary reasons. If I think that if I in my cavern I just burn, I do a firewood, it will help me to fight the dinosaurs. Okay, maybe that's not true, but I need to make it to have rules to live. So it helps to have confirmation bias. We cannot do research in everything we do in life. That would be crazy. So what is my rules? It's the structure I put in place to detect my confirmation bias and limit as possible my confirmation bias. So what rules? Statistical hypothesis. If I check something that is already supposedly known in tradition, you have an hypothesis and you make an hypothesis and you check it. All the time you must use control groups. You cannot measure um, astrological events against this false randomness that people say, oh, I got 10 degrees orb divided by 360, this kind of rule. We say in French, we say rule of three, or a proportional rule doesn't work. So we need control groups.
Yeah,
This is sacred.
yeah,
And now, the most important, in the absence, like you do vibrational astrology, which is new. So you cannot avoid, you don't test hypothesis, you just discover, you build. If
yes,
you're a model builder, what we call exploratory research, in that
yep,
framework, the absolute requirement of replication. And when I say replication with independent data that I evoked just a few minutes ago, it's not after publication. Like, okay, I publish, then I replicate. No, 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 no. It should be included in first.
That
Because
makes sense.
I don't want publication within the first publication. If I built a model, 9 times out of 10, my research ends up in the trash
Mm,
because it doesn't replicate.
right, right, right.
Oh,
That
by the
makes
way,
sense.
my ending also, by the way, it's very technical. It's very simple. You know that in social science, we got a five p-value is 5%. For people who doesn't know, it means that I assume that there's a 5% probability that what I found could have been found by pure chance, by random casino effect. So for me, 5% for astrology, it's not serious. For a consensual social science with 5 degree, okay, percent, it's okay. But for something so highly speculative, even at times implausible as astrology, I think in practice, I wouldn't publish unless my p-value is not below 1 divided by 1,000. Below. I want it. I want the probability of my finding to be random below 1 divided by 1,000. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely much, much stronger. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes.
I
Small
mean, and
progress.
two, it's maybe it depends too on the sample size that you have of the amount of people that you have and running the test more than once on different groups too. So seeing where that's at, because maybe in a bigger group, it would be.
Even there, I don't want to be the victim of me not having found enough people. That's my responsibility.
Yes, it
If it's
is.
too hard to find, it means that my subject is not good.
Yeah,
I
that
should
makes
work on
sense.
something else. I know maybe that, I want to work on afterlife, when you die and you go in the tunnel yeah, but we don't have many cases. So
Right.
that's very exciting. But over that, over that excitement, the main rule is have to, okay, change subject. It's your fault.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
it means that you have the responsibility to find a good subject, exciting like that, and very with many data available, so you can go below 1,000, 1 divided by 1,000. So if I'm not there, in the trash, I don't use it. I wouldn't publish that.
It's good that you have the rigor and the ability to discern what is appropriate and not, or just not
Yeah.
timed right. Yeah.
And the big question I ask when I'm going to publish something, again, the Scorpio issue about that, would I play my own life with the certitude of my finding? If
Mm.
I'm wrong, I die. Boom.
Oh,
So I'm very exigent. It's like I play my life.
yeah. You want to be accurate. That makes sense.
It's a metaphor, obviously. Scorpio
Yeah, of course.
metaphor.
But you want to be accurate as your thing. You want to
Oh
be
yeah, I'm very
truthful.
exigent.
And I mean, you have to be truthful. Otherwise, you're not doing research. You're just doing
Yeah.
something else to want to
To
judge, but
me,
you're doing
when
something
I
else.
say I'm sure of something, it means I could play my life.
Right. And that there's
Nearly.
gradients of confidence in it too. So if
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
medium confidence, that's different than if you're sure.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
this was such a wonderful conversation with you, Vincent. I could talk to you
Thank you.
for a long time, but I wanted to thank you for coming to talk to me and to share
Thank
share
you.
your presentations for the Cosmic Discovery Conference. And I really look forward to hearing what you have to say and learning more about your research methods. So this was really great.
Thank you so much.